What's up everybody, you're very welcome along to this week's Anfield Agenda One Football News Show. You can download the One Football app entirely free with the link in the description below. One Football will keep you up to date with absolutely everything that you need for the busy season ahead. You've got statistics, you've got fixtures, you've got video content, augmented reality features and everything else that you need. You've probably heard about One Football. You've heard me banging on about it for the longest time. It is my go-to for all football content, so if you haven't downloaded the app, please do so with the link in the description. That link lets the guys at One Football know that we sent you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get straight to it. Let's get to the news stories this week. And the first one that I want to have a chat around is Liverpool being linked with a 19-year-old attacking midfielder called Carvalho from Fulham. 6 months to run in his contract, apparently attracting a lot of attention from clubs around Europe. And look, I won't lie, I don't know too much about the kid, but when I seen the age profile, when I seen the position, when I seen that Liverpool have apparently stolen a march on other interested clubs, it made me sit up and take a little bit of notice. Will he come to Liverpool? I don't know, but what I can say is at 19 years of age, attacking midfielder, 6 months to run in his contract, there's a lot of things here that make you believe, hang on, maybe Liverpool are actually interested in this kid. There's a whole host of clubs around Europe are constantly scouting the guy. As I said, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know too much about young Carvalho, but Fulham have produced some cracking players over the years. You only have to look at young Harvey Elliott, obviously, that we stole from Fulham recently. I say stole because we did, let's be honest about it. Yes, he's a Liverpool fan, but he got his breakthrough at Fulham. Let me know if you've watched much of young Carvalho. As I said, I don't have much time to really watch the Championship this season, so if maybe you're a Fulham fan or if you're somebody who watches a lot more of the Championship than I do, let me know your thoughts on this kid. Do you think he's the real deal? Do you think he's ready for a move to a club the stature of Liverpool? I can understand a load of things about this, by the way. As I said, the player's age profile, obviously the fact that there's a deal to be done if he only has 6 months remaining. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on it, ladies and gentlemen. And as well as this and a lot of other stuff, you will get lots of great stories on the One Football app. And this is just the first of many. So let's move on to number 2. The second story, ladies and gentlemen, revolves around the fantastic Michael Edwards. Now, of course, this guy's going to be in demand. His contract with Liverpool expires at the end of the current campaign, and he has been linked with a load of high-profile posts around Europe. But this one talks about the recent link, and I say recent because it only came up in the last day or two, that suggested that maybe Michael Edwards was going to take up a role at Leipzig. This has been rubbished by Leipzig, who suggest that he's not going to go there and take over the reins. And look, I don't know if that means that he's going to stay at Liverpool. I don't know if he's even negotiating with Liverpool to stay beyond his current contract. But what I can tell you is he has been responsible, and you know this, for a lot of the great transfers that we've brought in over the past 6-7 years at Liverpool Football Club. He is being tracked and being spoken about by clubs like Barcelona and many other sports as well as just football. And Michael Edwards will have no shortage of offers. But one part of me was relieved to hear that the Leipzig story has been knocked on the head, because, you know, I hope, and I still hold out hope, that he does agree to extension with Liverpool. But what we can say is if Michael Edwards decides that it's time for him to maybe look at some pastures new, I'm going to be really selfish here, and I hope that he moves out of football entirely and into a completely different sport, because I don't want another club benefiting from the genius that is Michael Edwards. Because look, some of the deals that he struck, particularly with players that we've moved on from Liverpool Football Club, the likes of Dominic Solanke, Jordan Ibe, Kevin Stewart, a few other players as well. We've got great transfer fees for them, and you think back to the creative way that he negotiated the Naby Keita transfer from Germany over to Liverpool, and the way that we did that early but left him there for another 6 months. It just goes to show you that he's always looking to innovate. He's always looking to get value for money, and for us as a football club, Michael Edwards has been a huge part of the structure that has brought us so much success. So glad to hear that he's not going to Leipzig, but only because I hope and pray that Liverpool find a way to convince him that he should remain at the club for a few more years, because it's going to be a very difficult job to replace Michael Edwards. But what we can say is the Leipzig chief here, according to this article, has come out and poured cold water over the idea of Michael Edwards taking up the sporting director role at Leipzig, which is great news for us Liverpool fans, hopefully. The third story I wanted to have a chat around, ladies and gentlemen, is one that involves Kostas Tsimikas. Basically, the headline is Kostas Tsimikas. Liverpool fans are in love with Kostas Tsimikas, and rightly so, because I didn't think, and I have to be honest here, I didn't think anybody was going to be able to come in and really put pressure on Andy Robertson, because Andy Robertson has been sensational at left back for Liverpool Football Club. You know, we had tried out other people there. We had Jimmy Milner playing there for the time being, and we lost a lot of the attacking impetus that we had when Andy Robertson was in the squad. The same can't be said when Tsimikas comes in. We don't really lose anything. In fact, the stats show that I think he's kept 6 clean sheets since he started for Liverpool, or in the 6 games that he's played for Liverpool, which is something that we need a bit more of this season. I think it's fair to say we've been conceding far too many goals for my liking, but one thing was abundantly clear in the game against Atletico Madrid. As I'm recording this, it is Thursday, so it was last night's game against Atletico Madrid, is how fantastic his crossing is. I mean, we look across the pitch to the other side, Trent Alexander-Arnold, both assists last night for the 2 Liverpool goals. We know he has a great cross on him, but I think a lot of the great stuff that Andy Robertson does, sometimes in the past 18 months or so, I think his final ball has been a little bit questionable. And I say that with a heavy heart, because I know himself and Trent broke the assist record. I know that what they do for us, they're almost like wingers in our system and not really fullbacks. But Tsimikas does give us a little bit more, I think, even going forward, than Andy Robertson. And I'm delighted that Jurgen Klopp has a good headache at left back, and this article talks about what the players think of Tsimikas and gives you a little insight into a few things that maybe we haven't noticed. There's a bit in there about James Milner as well, but great to see that Tsimikas is winning over the Liverpool fan base, because he's got a lot of heart, he's got a lot of things that are easy to admire about the kid. And again, from 10 million quid to come in from Olympiacos, and any Olympiacos fans I've spoken to, by the way, still talk about this guy in the highest of esteem, or hold him in the highest of esteem, because they didn't want to let him go. But I think if you look at the options Liverpool had and the people that they were weighing up to come in, I think it's fair to say that it may have taken a little time for Tsimikas to get fully up to speed, and for Jurgen Klopp to feel like he can trust Tsimikas at any point. Right now, we have 2 fantastic left backs at the club, which cost us a combined, I can't believe I'm about to say these words, 18 million quid, maybe 18.5 million quid for Tsimikas and Andy Robertson. So this article really just focused on Tsimikas and the impact that he's having at the club. But I want to know your thoughts on Kostas, ladies and gents. Do you think that he is really going to challenge Andy Robertson? Can he, you know, displace Andy Robertson as Jurgen Klopp's first choice left back? You know, not really for me to say, but be interested to hear what you guys think. And again, the article is there in the OneFootball app if you want to go and have a read of it for yourself. It wouldn't be an Anfield Agenda OneFootball crossover without me talking a little bit about Jude Bellingham. This particular article that you're seeing on screen now, it suggests that Jude Bellingham is not currently considering leaving Borussia Dortmund. Now, of course, you guys will know that there was a lot of talk about Bellingham to Liverpool this week. Craig Hignett, former Middlesbrough player and I think Middlesbrough manager, said that he was told in no uncertain terms that Jude Bellingham was nailed on to come to Liverpool. Now, this obviously put myself and many other Liverpool fans on cloud 9. It's since been played down a little bit. There has been some quote tweets of some stuff from Jude Bellingham himself that, you know, of him smiling. You can read into that whatever you want with regards to, you think he's laughing at the rumours or you think that he's being a little bit coy. But whatever the case is, Dortmund look like they're about to make a play for his brother, and I think that's a stroke of genius in what they're doing here, because they're trying to make sure that the entire Bellingham family are settled, and, you know, bringing his brother over to Dortmund would be not just a good move from that perspective, but apparently Birmingham fans rate this kid who plays as a winger really highly, and if that is the case, you can understand why maybe Bellingham would take another season perhaps. Not what we as Liverpool fans want to hear, but if Jude Bellingham does decide to stay in Germany for one more year after this season, I think probably, and I hate saying this because I want him at Liverpool so badly and so quickly, but I think I could understand it from his career perspective, because Dortmund are a fantastic club with a fantastic fan base, and they're playing in the top tier of European football consistently in the Champions League. He gets to play in front of the yellow wall week in and week out with Dortmund as well. And look, I would be willing to hang off one more year if it means that we eventually get Jude Bellingham. And I understand that the idea of Dortmund fans losing and the club losing Haaland and Bellingham in the same window would be very hard for the board to sell and very hard to keep the fan base happy. I do believe that Adeyemi will probably be the one to come in and replace Haaland as and when he moves on from Borussia Dortmund. But for Jude Bellingham, look, the Liverpool fan in me wants him to come quickly, but as long as we see Jude Bellingham in a Liverpool shirt at some point, I'll be happy. But this article suggests that that may not be in the immediate future, maybe a little bit down the line, and that he's happy and settled in Dortmund, which is understandable because they're a good club that treats their players well. So let me know your thoughts on that as well, and we move on to the final story of the day. And the last story I have today, ladies and gentlemen, is about Roberto Firmino and his injury. No surprise that he went straight down the tunnel when he came off against Atletico Madrid, and just as we start to get some players back from injury, of course, that ugly monster rears its head again, and it looks like Bobby Firmino could be facing a bit of a spell on the sidelines with a hamstring injury. Important to point out that the club haven't yet released a timescale around when they expect Bobby to be back. He will have to go through scans and all the usual medical tests and stuff, but not what Jurgen Klopp will need coming into a period of time where the games are coming thick and fast. Maybe the international break could come at the right time for us for once. You know, it will allow Bobby to rest, recuperate, and we'll take a few weeks off in the recovery process. It's not what we need with the likes of Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane heading off to the AFCON in January. So I'm hoping that it's not a full strain. It's just maybe he felt a little bit of something, but it is usually quite indicative when they go straight down the tunnel that it's maybe something to be a little bit more concerned about. So look, I don't want to guess how long he's going to be out for, but I do hope that we see Bobby Firmino back as soon as possible, because he really was starting to purr again in that Liverpool attack. And you know, Jurgen Klopp will be the first one to tell you how important Bobby Firmino is to Liverpool's system, to our press, to defending from the front, and he does a lot of the donkey work that allows Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane to flourish and score the goals that they do. So fingers crossed we're going to have a short spell without Bobby, hopefully not too long after the international break is over. And yeah, dare I say it, as I said, the international break might have just come at the right time for us for once, and it's not very often I'm going to say that. Look, ladies and gentlemen, that is everything that I have to talk about today. All the stories that I've mentioned you can find, of course, on the absolutely fantastic OneFootball app. There is a link in the description that will bring you straight to a download page for OneFootball. Is going to continually bring you stories right throughout the season. You've got league tables, you've got fixtures, you've got augmented reality, you've got video content, absolutely everything that you need. And again, using our link just lets the guys at OneFootball know that we sent you. Right, I'll be back soon, ladies and gentlemen. You'll be watching this on the Friday on my day off, so I will be back on Saturday with a couple of Anfield Agenda live streams. But thank you once again for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts on anything I spoke about during the video, and of course don't forget to drop a like and hit the subscribe button as well. I'll talk to you guys real soon. Take care. Bye bye.